Lose 100 pounds overnight. Heal your joints. Bathe in government-approved radioactive water. These aren't TikTok ads. They're from your 1925 newspaper. Let's see what they tried to sell our grandparents. This is Hidden Lens History, bringing the past back into focus. May 22nd, 1925. The headline shouts, "Get thin!" The product is SAN-GRI-NA, a French discovery. Cost $1 a bottle, about 17 today. 2 tablets before meals, guaranteed absolutely harmless, all but promising to melt off 10 to 100 pounds. It can be done. Yeah, probably if you took laxatives and caffeine pills before every meal. This pitch skirted the lines of the Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906. That law outlawed cocaine and opium in patent pills, forced labels to list ingredients, and created the earliest version of the FDA. But it didn't outlaw hype. If you called your pill guaranteed harmless, rather than guaranteed curative, you stayed legal. It was a progressive era half measure. Cleaner labels, but plenty of wiggle room. That's why SAN-GRI-NA could claim the dream without showing the data. And a century later, the effortless weight loss miracle still hasn't left the shelves. Washington, D.C. May 22nd, 1925. Carter's Little Liver Pills. Carter's Little Liver Pills promised stomach and head relief. A box cost 15 to 25 cents, $3 or $4 today. The name said liver, but the product was just a laxative. This taps into 19th century auto-intoxication theory. Doctors believed constipation poisoned the body, causing headaches, indigestion, even depression. Moving the bowels, they thought, could reset the whole system. It was partly true. Constipation does make you feel bad, but definitely not the cure-all. By the 1930s, the FDA began targeting exaggerated claims, and liver pills slowly became laxatives. Carter's even rebranded as Little Pills to stay legal. This ad shows the gap between old medical theory and new regulation, caught in print. Hot Springs, Arkansas, March 14, 1925. A sanitarium ad declared, "Hot radioactive water furnished by the government." 21 baths for $13, about $220 today. In 1925, a sanitarium was a hybrid spa hospital, where people checked in to take the cure. Hot Springs National Park piped real mineral water into federally managed bathhouses, complete with diet kitchens, operating rooms, and long stays built around rest. But the hook was the word radioactive. In the 1920s, this meant futuristic energy, not actual radiation. Marketers often splashed this term on toothpaste, tonics, and even face creams. The craze took off after Marie Curie's Nobel fame, when radium was treated like bottled vitality. Only later did Radithor deaths and radium jaw scandals expose the danger. The bathhouses still stand, but the branding quietly disappeared when radioactivity lost its glow. May 22nd, 1925. Bono promised to clean the whole house through, scrub the floors, shine the mirrors, clean the car windshield, even get gum out of the carpet, kill moths, and ward off bed bugs. All from a single bottle. Pints went for 59 cents, a quart for 98, about $10 to $17 today. The catch? In the 1920s, all-purpose cleaner often meant a harsh brew of ammonia, turpentine, and maybe a splash of kerosene. Stuff that absolutely could kill bugs, and maybe a few brain cells while you were at it. But the pitch worked. Before the EPA and consumer safety labels, nobody asked too many questions as long as it had a sharp enough smell and foamed. By mid-century, cleaners split into tidy categories. The dream of one bottle that does it all keeps coming back. But today, it usually comes with asterisks. Bono sold it with exclamation points. May 22nd, 1925. "You big stiff knee, watch your finish." Joint Ease sold itself with a yell. "Limbers 'em up." 60 cents a tube, about $10 today. This was a liniment, a topical rub that created a burning or cooling sensation with ingredients like camphor, menthol, or capsicum. The idea was counter-irritation. Distract nerves at the surface so deeper pain feels less sharp. It didn't repair joints, but People swore by the sensation. These were the grandfathers of Icy Hot and Bengay. A century later, the science is clearer, the label's safer, but the strategy, rub and relief, hasn't changed. May 22nd, 1925. The Laun-Dry-Ette promised, centrifugal force whirls the clothes dry. It washed, rinsed, blued, then spun. No wringer to feed with. Blued meant adding a dash of blue dye to make yellowed whites look brighter. Before bleach and optical brighteners, this was the secret to crisp-looking laundry. A wringer, meanwhile, was a pair of rollers used to squeeze water out of clothes. It worked, but it also mangled sleeves and crushed fingers. Newspapers of the 1910s are full of wringer accidents. So the Laun-Dry-Ette wasn't just a time saver, it was selling safety. As electricity spread into homes, these machines became status symbols of modernity. It's the pivot from dangerous manual laundry to the spin cycle we know today. March 14, 1925. Peruna tonic. Peruna ad said, "Those who recognize the usefulness of Peruna are never without it." Back in 1900, Peruna was one of America's top-selling patent medicines. It pitched itself as a cure for catarrh, an old medical catch-all for mucus, congestion, and inflammation. In practice, catarrh could mean anything from the common cold to chronic cough, which made it the perfect loophole. Everyone had it, so everyone should buy this cure. But regulation cut into those bold claims. The 1906 Food and Drugs Act forced labels to reveal alcohol content. Many users discovered their medicine was nearly 25% booze. The 1911 Supreme Court ruling and the 1912 Shirley Amendment narrowed what ads could legally promise. By 1925, Peruna's copy tiptoed. Usefulness, invigorating effect. No cures, just careful words. It's what survival looked like in print, still on shelves, but stripped of its swagger. January 28, 1925. The Rickenbacker 6 declared itself a car worthy of its name. The only four-door coach broom on the American market. Price tag, $15.95, about $27,000 now. The ad drew a line between thoroughbreds and iron horses, freight trains. This was identity marketing. Eddie Rickenbacker, World War I ace and national hero, lent his name and bravado. The cars had real engineering, like four-wheel brakes, but they cost more than Fords and Chevys. The company folded by 1927. Still, this copy style, performance tied to personality, set the tone for a century of car ads. You can hear echoes of it in Built Ford Tough. May 22nd, 1925. Glandogen advertised itself as the scientific method of administering gland extracts. The box looked clinical, the typography serious, but the promise was vague. This was part of a fad called organotherapy. The idea was simple but flawed. If an organ in your body was weak, you could eat the same organ from an animal to restore it. Thyroid for thyroid, ovary for youth, adrenal for energy. There was real science nearby. Insulin had just been isolated from the pancreas in 1921, but that was precise lab work. Pills like Glandogen were more like ground-up glands in a capsule, with no actual proof they worked. By the 1930s, synthetic hormones replaced animal extracts, and the fad disappeared. Glandogen sits right at that pivot. Real endocrinology was emerging, but marketers were cashing in before the evidence caught up. December 12, 1925. A headline announced, "Finds drug cure." A San Francisco chemist claimed a plant extract, curare, could end addiction. Doctors endorsed it, but no dosing or results were reported. Curare isn't a cure. It's a paralytic poison, used on arrow tips in South America and later in surgery to temporarily paralyze muscles. The idea that you could shock someone out of drug dependence with curare was dangerous wishful thinking. In reality, this kind of cure risked paralysis, complications, even death. By the 1930s, addiction treatment shifted towards safer maintenance therapies and counseling. This headline shows just how far the desperation for a quick fix could go. That's 1925. Weight loss tablets, radioactive water, gland pills, miracle cleaners. Some of it became modern life. Some of it nearly killed people. Together, it's proof that every generation chases the same dream. Something quick, something easy, something too good to be true. Find more out about 1925 by following our This Week in 1925 series, or watching headlines of the past restored and retold in our other series. Until the next one, thanks for watching.